Hey, friend.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, Miss CEO.
No, I'm just,
Yes.
I'm just serving my purpose, girl.
You
That's
just
it.
serving the purpose, living your
Mhm.
best life.
Trying to, girl. And especially within all this going on, you really gotta find something. What I do is work. So,
What you do is work. Okay, that's good. But you doing it though. You
thank
CEO.
you, girl.
You are a
Yeah.
trainer.
Yes.
So do you sleep is my question.
I do sleep. I definitely sleep. I love sleep. That is self-care to me. I took a really good nap in the middle of the day. They give me all of this energy right now. So, yeah, sleep. If I can do anything, it's eat and sleep.
Hey, that's the life. That's the life. So
Absolutely.
we talk about self-care Sunday. That's your thing before we get into your career. But let's talk
Hmm.
about this self-care Sunday. What does that look like?
Absolutely. So, Self-Care Sunday is something for, very busy people
Hmm.
that always have an excuse to not take care of themselves. They dive into being a boss and hustling and caring for people and serving everybody, and they just really neglect self-care. So, I know I am a victim of that, and I got burnt out. I was doing every single thing. I was in school, I was working a full-time job, I was training. I was trying to be the best person for everybody, and I did not prioritize myself. So on Sundays, which is the day before I was to go back to work, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to take advantage of this opportunity to reset and recharge so that I could really give what I'm supposed to give and what I'm assigned to give to the world and to people. So that's how I kind of came up with Self Care Sunday. And I encourage everyone to really practice, whether it be a Sunday, whether it be a minute, a break, but intentionally, really celebrate and give back to yourself.
I'm
So,
That is amazing. I'm horrible at that. Like, especially that self-care Sunday, because I feel like what I got to do, what I got to do. But normally I try to chill on a Saturday and absolutely
hmm
nothing. And then Sunday is kind of like, all right, let me prepare for the week and everything. So yeah, so that's amazing.
right. Sometimes it's just the little things like you cooking. Like one time, cooking was therapeutic for me, and you just really never know when you're so busy. You find that the little things is very therapeutic. Just like in this pandemic, it's a lot of stuff going on, even though it's not supposed to be anything going on. It's a lot going on, and you find yourself so confused and just so irritated. And it's just like, okay, maybe I should breathe. Maybe I should just do something. One time watching TV, it just really helped me just exit out of everything I have going on. So that saved my life.
That's
Self care.
that saved your life. Well,
It
knowing you
did.
for I guess your whole life, you being my cousin, let me say just how proud I am of you. Like I have seen you just walk in your purpose and then just blossom, and I'm like extremely like excited to see what God is going to do within you, and I think that is just so amazing.
Thank you, friend. I'm proud of you too. It's so crazy how we both are doing this.
Yeah,
And I would tell grandmother, but hopefully we save it and I can just show it to her afterwards
that's what I was
because
thinking.
it should, yeah, because
That's why I didn't even bother you. I said we're just gonna save it and show it to her afterwards.
yeah.
But yeah, but I wanted to bring you on here because I wanted to share your path because what a lot of people don't know is that you are a personal trainer, but you do have a lot of degrees. And I think with our family, they be like, Sharon in school again? Like, what is she doing? What degree is she getting? But I wanted to highlight, especially what do you do? A lot of people, with me being in higher ed, I come around across students who don't know the direction they want to go within their life and don't know the path. So I kind of want to
hmm
highlight and focus on different careers because maybe it can highlight a career that somebody never thought about it. I think once you were in
hmm
your career path, we were talking about, hey, I didn't know that was, that career path, or how did you decide? So let's kind of
Yeah.
like start at the beginning. Like, what school did you tell us about yourself? What school did you, attend and everything?
Okay, so for nutrition, okay, I'll just do them all. So I got my first degree at University of South Alabama. I got it
Mm-hmm.
in exercise science. Now, one thing you find out is when you get a bachelor's in exercise science, you need a bachelor's in something else to just really specify what exactly you're going to do. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's how I kind of got my personal training background and the knowledge behind that. Then I went to Tuskegee University to get my master's in food and nutrition sciences, and then follow that with another bachelor's that really tailors to dietetics.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm at Sanford University finishing out my matriculation for the whole entire journey of becoming a registered dietitian. And what I'm doing there is my dietetic internship.
Okay. So we
So
are almost a dietitian. That is like amazing. Did
almost.
you know when you went to school, like when you graduated high school, did you know that this was the path for you that you wanted to go in, or did you just fall into your lap?
I knew I wanted to be, well, at that time, I wanted to be a nutritionist. I
Okay.
did not exactly know what a registered dietitian was. I did not
Okay.
know I was going to hoop and hurdles. Honestly, I thought I was just going to get my bachelor's in exercise science and then get my master's in nutrition until they told me, the limitations I would still have with the master. I was like, what you mean? So when they told me I still had limitations, as far as like the people that I can counsel and I can help, I was like, well, might as well just go all the way through and get a registered dietitian. So it was definitely, and then like around the time frame, it was just like the type of schools you had the coordinating program, and then you had people that just had it, just
Mm-hmm.
had um the dietetic, and it wasn't a master's yet. So I felt like my journey was rigged, but I'm just happy that I'm finally here. I'm
Mm-hmm.
almost done.
Yes, yes. So tell me the difference. What's the difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian?
Okay, so with the nutritionist, one, it's not really legally protected, the title. Anybody can really say they're a nutritionist. You
Okay.
can read a magazine on women's health, or you can go to myplay.gov and you be like, well, I'm a nutritionist, and people just believe it. Just like a personal trainer, anybody can say they're a personal trainer. Nobody really typically asks, like, well, what certification you have. And
Right.
so, but just to narrow it for the people that may have a certification in a specialization in nutrition, it's more for preventative health, which
Okay.
anybody can do. They can give you all the advice in the world and say, this is how you can be healthy, this is how you can lose weight or something like that. Now, with as a registered dietitian, you're more tailored to be able to cater to people with chronic illnesses,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just more credible, where the knowledge is more required. You have more credentials as a registered dietitian.
Okay. So when it comes down to credentials, what credentials do you need to be within these two fields?
So, like I said, nutritionist, you don't have to have a credential just to say you're a nutritionist.
Okay.
Now, some people that have a nutrition degree, you know, they can be called a nutritionist. Um, so a degree, a certification, that would give you the title to be a nutritionist. As a dietitian, you have to complete certain levels um, of curriculum to become. So you have to have the you have to have a degree in dietetics. You have to complete a didactic program in dietetics, and those are the curriculum. It's certain courses that the academy requires you to take to be able to be qualified to do an internship.
Mm-hmm.
During the internship, you have to complete 1,200 hours of supervised practice with a dietitian.
Wow.
So you're going to all of these different areas, and you're working with a dietitian and a live like you're going to work with a dietitian.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you take a registration exam, just like any other health professional or even a lawyer, any like up top tier professional that handles that deals with people, health
Mm-hmm.
or legal. But you have to take an exam, then you become a registered dietitian. So it's 3 levels to being a dietitian.
Okay. So what
Yeah.
careers can you do with that? Like, where can you work within being a registered dietitian?
Okay. Well, I can share with you what places that I go in my internship.
Okay.
So you can work with school systems as a
Mhm.
nutritionist. So that's what I was. Um, I worked in the school system for 2 years
Okay.
as the nutritionist,
Hmm.
and I was able to do that because I had a master's in nutrition.
Okay.
But
Can you do that with
that
your bachelor's?
um, not
Or does
in
that
which are what can you can do things. Nah. Now the market in nutrition, they are starting to require a master's.
got you? Okay.
Yeah, just to separate, things and advocate for dietetics.
Okay.
But so I was a nutritionist at the county school in Montgomery,
Hmm.
Alabama. Then you can be a clinical nutritionist, clinical dietitian at a hospital,
Okay.
um, diabetes educator.
Mm,
You can work in food service.
okay.
I think that's really, and I love that positions because it can really help the restaurants be able to cater to people's health. Um, Community nutrition, public health, dietitians, having that seat at the table of policies within the community to, really help combat food insecurities, nutrition education for low income communities. What else you can do? You can do so much with it. What have I not? Sports nutrition. It's been a long year, friend.
I know.
It's a
I
lot you can
know.
do.
Yeah.
It's really a lot we can do. Anywhere where it concerns health or food, a dietitian can be there.
Okay. Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, wow. So what area of specialty did you, out of all of those careers, in all of those ways, where do you want to work? Where do you see, like, as you going through your internship now? Is it someplace you like, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that? Or, like, do you
Yeah.
know your focus of where you going?
It's always been so hard for me to really target stuff because I'm
Hmm.
just in love with the fact of the position to help people. But like I said, I came from child nutrition. So the heart is always going to be there because I built such a bond in that environment of educating students how to eat healthy, what the balanced meal is like. I'm the nutrition teacher.
You're right.
So, so I really enjoyed that position. So, I don't mind going back to that. I left so I can continue finishing off my process
Hmm.
as to become a dietitian. Sports nutrition, I have that rotation coming up at University of Oregon, so I'm so excited.
Yes.
Fitness, fitness has always been my passion, and just being able to help athletes. Because knowing when I was an athlete, I was not eating that well, and we did not have a dietitian on our staff to help us. So I'm really excited. So I definitely that is like my top tier. If I can be a sports nutritionist, that is just like my ideal utopia career. But
Well, guess what? You're going to
obviously, I need
get
the money.
there.
I need the
You are
money.
going to get there.
Yeah, and then food service. That's my experience. So yeah, girl, I never can choose, but that's my top three.
Okay. But you will get there, Sharon. Like, I believe it. If you want to be in the sports field, hey, go for it. Go
Yeah, I
for
hope
it. You
so.
can.
I hope I enjoy it. I gotta go to the internship to see if I like it, but
Hey, but
as of
that's
right
the
now, it
point
looks
of,
really fun.
yes, but that's the point of exposure, of knowing
Right.
what, and that's why I tell students all the time to do internships, to do, because
Absolutely.
that is something when kids don't know what they want to do or the career path that they want to go, exposure is the main thing. So how many,
Definitely.
you said an internship, but how important is internships for you when you were in undergrad? I know that you have to do it within your
Hmm.
program now, but how important were internships for you?
It's very important because it's really just getting your feet wet
Hmm.
and like because we can always make decisions like I want to do this when I grow up, I want to do that, but we don't actually know exactly what is involved in it.
You're
And
right.
sometimes when you jump in it, you realize that you lose your passion for it. And so because it's just not fun anymore. Now it's a job.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then you start venturing something else. So I think internship is a great opportunity for you to really know if this is something you would like to do for the long run. I pretty much interned everything I've done in strength and conditioning and fitness. I interned first. I realized that um, personal training in the general population is something I enjoy most. And being in the child nutrition, I was an intern first, and then
Hmm.
I got myself promoted to full time, um, being a nutritionist there. So I just feel like if you're interested in something, if you get an opportunity to just be able to observe somebody every single day. I know in grade school, people was just like shadow a person that you want to be, a position that you want to be for a day, like a career day or something like that.
Hmm.
And I really appreciate. I didn't get to go to that many things when I was younger, but I appreciate people for having those type of events so that people really know what they're getting themselves into, and they can.
Right.
And so when they get their stuff into, they can really be intentional in their position and be there for long term and make an impact.
Well, let me tell you, you're doing it now. And that's why I have this career focus Sundays, because it helps to highlight different careers and what,
Very.
people want to do. Because job shadowing, I appreciate to my kids all the time. Like, job shadow somebody. Do something that you want
Mm-hmm.
to do so you can see if
Sure.
you like it and don't like it. Because when,
Mm-hmm.
being in college, we change our major 3 or 4 times. And I think, and we waste time and we waste money, and I feel that because we don't know. But if we start in high school, early as middle school, and start, shadowing these people, if you can't shadow, I tell students all the time, interview them, get on the phone, see what their, favorite thing about their job, how did they get within that career field. And then you
Yeah.
can kind of know, all right, this is something that I want to do, or it's not nothing that, I want to do.
Right.
So I think that you're, getting exposure and also having those different, internships is good. Good, very
It
good.
really is, especially if with the major, because I know I did change my major because I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know exactly what major it
Hmm.
was. And I think that's like you said, it's really important for them to just talk to them and have interview them so you kind of know what's your career path. Because what can happen is that you stay in school a lot longer than you expected to.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to figure out, well, what are these classes going to? And, so that's good. So you mentioned that
Mhm.
you went to South Alabama. How did you get there? How did you pick that school?
Okay, so coming out of high school,
Okay.
my goal was to play basketball.
All right.
So that's where I was. I was really thinking about who I'm gonna play basketball for. I was not really focused on what who what degree where I was gonna get my degree from. It was really about who I was gonna play for, who was gonna get me to the top, all of that. So I narrowed all of my decisions. I knew I wanted to go Division 1, and I narrowed all of my decisions to Alabama. And
Because it's in
going
state.
on, it's in state, and I
Okay.
had a lot of options, but just going on those visits, just like you said, get your feet, wet. I went on visits, and I just really found that South Alabama was home. Mobile, Alabama was home, and I don't even regret it. I had a great time, and I really felt myself as far as in my career there as well.
And let me tell you about you exercise science majors. You are like the third person I have interviewed within that in that major. And they always say they're, I guess because you guys are athletes. So that's something that you
Mm-hmm.
guys, that's your focus,
Yeah.
and then that's your major. So I'm just like, when I asked that question, it's like, look, I just came to play sports, and then it's just what I ended up in. And I'm like, and that is so crazy, because you're like the third person that said that.
I
Like,
really
why did you select
did.
that school? Scholarship and to play sports. And I'm like, okay.
Well, I
But
had two
that's
options. I was either going to be a nutritionist or a trainer. I knew
well, at
that.
least you
Like,
knew
I knew
that.
fitness. I did know that. So, at all the schools I went to, I was looking at degrees. I'm like, okay, exercise. Actually, I went to health education.
Okay.
Then I realized that that's not a nutritionist at all, nor a trainer. So it didn't take much. I just had to scoot on to exercise science. But that's the thing, because the athlete, they never, that's their plan A. They don't ever
Mm-hmm.
think that they're not going to play sports, especially going into collegiate level. So that's their first thing. And then after that, most athletes say, I want to coach after that, or I want to do something with it. I know my whole team was in exercise science, and they were um, OT majors, want to be a coach, personal trainer, strength and
Mm-hmm.
conditioning coach, any of that. But that's pretty much what all of us athletes have in common, is that we want to
Yeah.
coach. But once you get into it, you be like, okay, this science stuff ain't gonna happen. Let me see if I can teach a class or something.
Right.
Or let me see if I can do IT. They definitely change, but great thing that we have a support team that are able to guide us, because we need it as far as athletes, because our mind is on our sport.
Right, right. So you came
It's just
from a
us.
family. Our family is HBCUs all the way.
Yes.
And for
Yes.
you to go to a PWI, that is like so amazing. I was telling somebody like the other day, and we were talking about, the schools that we went to, and I was like, you know what? I grew up with around HBCU. I felt like I didn't need to go to
Mm,
HBCU because I knew all about it. And when I
yeah.
went to college, I was going to go to this PWI. Then Granny was telling me, you know what, you need to try this HBCU. And I was like, oh, okay. So, but you went to go get your master's at HBCU. So tell me about that
Yeah.
experience and the difference between a PWI and a HBCU.
Well, okay. I can talk about my experience, because I really feel like mine is different. I went to the prestigious um, University Institution of Tuskegee University,
Okay.
and I really feel like what makes Tuskegee definitely stands out is the environment. And it was
Mm-hmm.
a huge transition for me, coming from the big city of Mobile, Alabama, to the country of Tuskegee, Alabama, which I'm not. You know me, I'm not from the country. I'm a city girl. So it was definitely a transition.
Mm-hmm.
I was well, I won't say baby, but I was definitely spoiled at South Alabama. And in Tuskegee taught me to get stuff on your own. It really empowered me to really be a go-getter, because you
Yeah.
can't wait. You can't depend on nobody for nothing. And those teachers, and I felt like they intentionally challenged me in that area. And that's the beauty of being um at a HBCU. I love my PWI. I had so much fun, because I didn't have to do that much work. Of course, I don't mind people doing the work, but when I went to Tuskegee, they shook me up really quick,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it took me a while to appreciate it, until when I started wearing my letters out in other states, and they're like, "I know that school,"
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, "You know my school." So it was very. I generated so much pride in
Mm-hmm.
HBCU.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I was definitely baby at South Alabama. I was.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people, all the time. They ask me what's the difference between a PW and a PWI and a HBCU, and I tell them that HBCU you gonna grow up real fast because you
Yeah.
gonna have to grind for your degree. Now they gonna take care of us, but you gonna have to go out there and get it. And I think that's one thing that I love, about just maturing. Like you're gonna have to work. It's gonna teach you how to communicate with your faculty. It's gonna teach you how to take care of business.
Yeah,
Versus PWI,
absolutely.
like and stay on your stuff. So I think that's the difference when it comes out. My experience too is like I have to stay on it versus a PWI, you're like, oh, okay, I did this and so on. But I think that's, baby, I just,
They give you a checklist. They give you a checklist at a PWI. They give you so
right.
many reminders. They give because
Hmm.
I mean right now I'm at Stanford. I'm at PWI now, and I'm just like, thank you y'all. But it's crazy because I went from a PWI to a HBCU to a PWI,
Hmm.
and so but it's like I'm more prepared for the PWI now because it's just
Hmm.
like I got it. I was already 5 steps ahead.
Right. So you already knew what to expect and how to get it done.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. That's
It's
good.
crazy. It's so crazy, but both of them definitely has their benefits. But a PWI, I definitely encourage it for those coming, from high school, and maybe a PWI for the masters because it's just more opportunities. Hopefully, now that we are seeing HBCUs get a lot of more support. Hopefully they get funded and they get those resources to be able to provide and offer more.
Yeah, because I think that's one thing
Yeah,
that I've noticed with me working now. Because I'm in higher ed, I work
yeah,
at a HBCU, and now I'm at a
hmm,
PWI, and I feel
yeah,
like the resources are different. Like, and I feel
hmm,
like, man, if we had this at Texas Southern, if we had this, like I'm getting more training, I'm getting more professional development. I don't have to go
yeah,
look for nothing, and like everything is there. So it's just
yeah,
like the difference within the resources and people, I feel like I had to work harder at a HBCU work wise, to try to get our kids in. Whereas, at a PWI, it's like, okay, do this and get them in and, orientation and everything else, calling and stuff.
hmm,
So it's a difference when it comes down to resources. And I hope now that, we're all Black Lives Matter movement,
yes,
is able to, give us the resources and highlight those schools because I do feel like your HBCUs are the schools that are best for our students
right,
versus a PWI. But at the same time, you have to go what fits best for you. But if I have a student all day, if I have a student come to me and be like, hey, Miss Francesca, I want to go to school at a HBCU. I'm excited because I'm like, yes, like, let me hear, what do we need to do? And, and I don't hear that. I hear the big schools, the A&Ms and the Texas and the, with me living in Texas. And so it's amazing when I see that, the difference
yeah,
within that. So I'm actually been looking at some programs for my master's, but I've been looking at, PWI. So it's kind of like
yeah.
a different when it comes down to that. So that's good, Sherry.
It definitely helps you take full advantage of,
Mm-hmm.
coming from an HBCU, it helps you take full advantage of when you go to a PWI. Because, like you said, so many resources, and
Mm-hmm.
you definitely don't want to overlook it.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing what you didn't have, and you see it, you're like, oh yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
want all of that. When the next event, I need to email to whoever.
Whoever.
You have opportunities to go overseas. You have job offers. It's in there, but like I said, when you have those like Tuskegee, we had a lot of resources too. We had people coming to us wanting it, but it was just the resources that Tuskegee just had within itself to make education a little bit more. I don't want to say easier because that means I'm looking to be easier, but you really just have to work hard, okay? You just really have to
Yeah.
work hard.
Yeah. So let's talk about scholarships and how was that available to you when it comes down. I think one thing with parents and students, but within my parents, really worried about, funding college. So were you able to look for scholarships or, during your path of college?
Yes, I took advantage. So when I was at University of South Alabama, we had this multicultural awareness organization,
Okay.
and the person that was over there, they definitely, promoted the minority scholarships that I was able to
Mm-hmm.
take advantage of. I also was on scholarship as an athlete,
Okay.
and then my ACT score really helped me with my scholarship as well.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, my mom, she's an educator, and she does not play about taking advantage of every resource when it comes to that. So even church scholarships, it's so many scholarships out there. And even when I went to Tuskegee and I was looking for scholarships, I realized It's so many scholarships for bachelors. Like, if you're just not coming to school, there's no way that you should be paying a dime for it. Now, I know a master's degree, they encourage you to do research. That's how you get your school paid for. But undergrad level, it's so much money out there. It's literally in your face. Look on the back of a receipt. It's a scholarship. Like, go apply for it.
Wow,
It's
I
so
need to
much.
start doing that.
They need to,
Yes.
because it's literally they just throw it everywhere. It's
Hmm.
for undergrad.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think the difference is within, our kids when it comes down to undergrad, they don't want to fill out scholarship applications or they think. But I tell students all the time, look at those little scholarships that people are not paying attention to. They're looking for the big ones, the corporations, Coca-Cola, UPS, and I tell them look at those little scholarships
And
because
those are
the
more
thing
competitive.
those are more competitive, but also they think it's a small amount and I'm not going to apply for it. But what they don't understand, it adds up. That $500 and another 500, that's your books already.
Exactly.
So,
I was gonna say that book you need, that's that scholarship right there.
right. So I
And
tell
even
students, hmm
local, even within the school, even if you don't get your target amount, when you once you start school, they're still giving out scholarships.
yes, yes.
And they really, especially in HBCU, they're definitely taking care of you. But everywhere it's scholarship for undergrad. I'm saying undergrad because I was really salty when I was going to grad school and I was looking for some money. And I was just like, all it says undergrad. I'm like, I'm just gonna apply for it anyway, just in case they see
Right,
it.
and that's a good thing to do because like they probably because the scholarships probably don't be open to like somebody don't might get it. They might be like, "Hey, she applied. Let me give it to you." You never know. So that mindset you got is like awesome. It's
Girl, I've been
awesome.
in school way too long. I'm especially so this program at intern like at Sanford,
Hmm.
they don't take anything. So I had to pay. I had to use my money. Like I took advantage when I was working in the school system. Like all that money, I was like, I'm working here just to pay for Sanford, and I finally got to finish paying for it.
That's
But
amazing.
girl, it was, and also the church helped. The church
Mhm.
always trying to help the kids. Make sure you stay loyal to your church.
I mean, yeah, hey, I used to work at the church ministry, so I know they want to give out scholarships to the kids. It's some money
Stay
that
loyal to
come
your church.
around. So
Hello.
that is amazing. So my
Yes.
last question is before I'm not gonna hold you up, but if you can give anybody some advice who wants to go in the career path that you're in now, what would you tell them?
Okay. Hmm. My advice is to research, research, research. Like I said, I caught it in a transition where there wasn't any masters, but right now I feel like it's set up and prepared for everyone. It's a very rigorous process. So see why, know your purpose and why you want to do it. Um, because like I said, it's money. It's money. You buying it. Okay. Um, I would say plan, know how you're going to do your DPD. Um, already kind of seek where you thinking about doing your internship because when it comes to trying to get in your internship, that process is probably the hardest process within everything is getting to an internship because it's computerized matching system.
Oh wow.
So you apply on this website. It's not like you apply to a specific school. Some schools do require you to apply for that school as well, but you're in the matching system and you put your top schools and then they look and they say they're top students, which means that networking is important before you get to that. So you match each other. Um, and sometimes you don't have to necessarily do your internship in a school. You can do it through a company, and that company most likely will hire you. But those are very more competitive um, institutions and internships to get in. But always like just have your plan before because you're always networking. Get into the academy because there's dietitians in that academy that are looking to mentor someone to ensure and help people get into it, especially minorities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's only 10% of African Americans that are registered dietitians, and they are fighting so hard. You don't understand how many people call me a week. You studying for your exam? Yes, ma'am, I am. I am studying. So that is my advice. Is, you know, it's not an easy process, but it's definitely a rewarding process, and it's fun. Once you get in the door, it's so fun.
That is
So
amazing.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Sharon, thank you so much for sharing your path to being a nutrition to now a featured dietitian. And
Thank you
where can
so
people
much.
follow you? Where can they connect with you?
So you can definitely connect me on my Instagram at Some Serious Fitness. Some Serious Fitness is pretty much my name on all platforms. Some as in SOME, Serious Fitness. Website, someseriousfitness.com. Instagram, some serious fitness. What I got? Facebook, Some Serious Fitness. All you gotta do is type it. But that's how you connect me, and I love showing my journey. I know social media is not something that I always revert to because I'm always working in the present, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Forget it. They just like, go see this today. I'm working hard, but yeah, they can definitely, contact me for anything. I definitely want to make sure that everybody, I can tell people my experience so that they have an easier route.
Yeah.
And I just want to say this, friend, cousin, I'm so proud of you. You've always been someone I looked up to. You
Oh, thank
always like
you.
been such like a big sister figure to me, and the fact that you finally created this platform. You've been doing this for a while now, and you can tell that you love it. And I'm just so proud of you being able to just venture off on your own and make this your style and you. And I'm
Thank
honored
you.
to be invited on here to tell them about what the Sanders do.
What the Sanders
Tell them how the
do.
Sanders do.
Let me tell you, well, thank you so much. We're in this together. I think we have a family that just believes in
Right.
what we do and support us at 100%. If we want to go cut the grass, they're gonna go tell us you better cut it, but you better cut it right at 100%.
Hello, bro. Ooh.
How much money is it gonna cost? Where you gonna be done? So I think education is one thing that they instill within us, and I think
Yeah.
sometimes they just tell us keep going to see our way through, and we'll eventually find our path. And I think with us, I think our whole family is happy and excited on what we're doing. So we got this. I'm so excited for the rest of
Yeah.
2020 with us. We have another
Yes.
graduation in a couple. After you finish this internship, we're going to celebrate
Yes.
going on family vacation.
And hopefully
But
nobody has asked me, so what, you still in school? I
yeah,
promise I hope I'm
you know
done.
that's Granny's thing. Like, shit, what you in school now for?
She
It's
already
so much.
called me she called me a career student.
Agree. See, but that's the difference within the age because she expects you to, settle down, be married, have
Yeah.
kids. Like, we just like we try to get this paper and try to change lives.
Hello.
So
Okay. We need
that
to up
stuff
the
would just,
score. We have to
yeah,
up the
yeah,
score.
yeah, yes. But I just want to thank you again, and I love you to death, and I will talk to you soon. All right.
All right. Love you,
Love
cuz.
you. Bye.
Bye.